We're going to move right into Bruva Alphabusa's Ghoul Lore, Big D and Kittens, Crash Course of the Fatally Addicted. This is going to be the second half of it. We're going to start up on Topic 5 Ghoul variants because there's apparently an 8-legged rat running around the house and they're going to go talk to Horse. Which one? Horse is going to be awesome because his scenes are always really creepy, but also really engaging when he gets in there. And will probably eventually involve Boy destroying a somehow monstrous rat that no one else realizes is there because that's the spiritual successor he's coming off of from TTS. Is that what's going to happen? I have no idea, but I'm going to take a wild guess on it. And it'll probably involve Boy doing something awesome because that seems to be how Bruva Alphabusa always treats that character, and I'm fine with it.
I take it this one is at least not your standard Ghoul.
Based on the clues presented thus far, of course
We got the
not.
addicted version.
Since there's a lot of variables involved,
What are the other variants?
what do you reckon this Ghoul could be? Some type of fell muck-wielding Ghoul empowered by their Domitor?
Muck-wielding?
Or an ultra-slick, nigh-invisible skulker?
They could do that?
Let me lay some groundwork. Starting off, there is of course natural variance from ghoul to ghoul.
Okay, so it's not
depending on
standardized.
their dormitories.
Ah.
The thrall ghoul is the thing that the vampiric elite would list as the only legitimate kind of ghoul.
Because it's the ghoul that's basically the servant and slave, which is how the elites want them all treated, including the people under them, because it's all a pyramid scheme. Literally a pyramid structure. Also, Hobby, you mentioned if I finish Hunter the Parenting this week, I should check out the Norfolk Wizard Game videos next. I'm actually thinking about doing those when I catch up to the Star Wars Warhammer 40k videos on Saturday. So that's what I'll be doing after that, mostly because, I meant to get around to them, I just haven't yet. Siren, you mentioned that every video Noah makes is produced in Google Slides using only that to make all his props? Yeah, I read that right. For his game shows and RPGs, aka he is peak scuffed competent. Oh my god. And Michael Hamilton mentioned every time you say boy, I hear Kratos. I've actually gone on to Steam and waited until those goes on sale because I want to get both the original God of War and the new one when it comes out. But I want to wait for them to be on sale. But the first one's been out for almost half a decade at this point. Oh god, it's been out for half a decade at this point. If the game still isn't on sale, that means it's probably doing pretty well. I heard it's good. I need to play it. I think I did on like the PS3 or PS4, but yeah. Not working right now.
But for as much as I make fun of the blue-blooded vampire snobs, I too think this next ghoul variant is a dangerous thing to talk openly about.
Oh!
This is another important factoid that I bestow
Wait,
upon
other
you in
variants that he would
confidentiality,
consider
son-in-law.
dangerous.
And that variant is?
Mutated?
The independent ghoul.
What?
Independent? Like the non-thrall variety?
Like the police officer was because he could choose to do whatever the fuck he wants. Oh, which is why it's dangerous and he doesn't want to talk about it. Not because they're more dangerous, but because in lore, he doesn't want to talk about the thing when the walls have ears. Because he's literally benefiting from someone like that right now. And no one else knows about that. Oh. But also probably because there's something you shouldn't talk about because it might give ideas.
Is that not better in every way?
No.
It certainly is, that would be clear. Independent ghouls are good. I wish independence for every ghoul out there.
But
before they liberate themselves from the Vitae entirely. To much of vampiric high society, however, they
are
are
a death
living,
sentence?
walking masquerade breaches. They do not act in accordance with their norms and traditions, and thus are treated worse than even the half-blooded daywalkers.
the what? That's a real thing? I thought people were talking about that. It was just like jokes about Blade or like the Wesley Snipes version prior to him not being able to reprise the role anymore because he went to jail for tax evasion. Yeah, that's part of the reasoning there. Huh. Also, sorry, I mentioned, right, probs and competent was supposed to be props and content. Oh, okay, that makes more sense.
Ah, yeah, daywalkers. I quite pitied the daywalker we hunted. Nothing like Piotr or Kevin in a lot of them. You had...
They previously hunted a daywalker. Okay, so this wasn't their first hunt as a group. Okay.
Mentioned they are severely oppressed in vampiric society. Are you saying independent ghouls are even worse off?
Without a doubt. They're often despised among the kindred elite and blood-hunted all over the world. These creatures are meant to be on a leash, after all. A masterless hound that can unwittingly destroy an entire society cannot be allowed on the street.
Because they could give away the masquerade. Whether they could or not doesn't matter, because there's the potential, and the potential is scarier than actually doing it, which is also why they'd be hunted down, even if they had no desire to do it. And Pylo mentioned, have you heard of Daywalks before? They are super low generation vampires. I've heard of that. I also heard something about how that was a reason to trigger the end times for them to move from old world to new world. But I have no idea if that was accurate or not, just speculation.
And so, independents usually work in
Reaper.
secret,
Thanks for dropping in.
largely with more progressive vampires, or those that are also under the big boot, like the Daywalkers.
Or with random hunters who are willing to stomach them. Just throwing it out there.
So how do you work as an independent ghoul?
Carefully.
Well, again, there are many ways. Often they have multiple different donors, getting vitae where they can find it, but always being wary of the blood bond.
Never do 3 times.
That's essentially it. Outside of that, you're independent. You can do whatever.
The fuck? You know, they did mention their neighbor in the horse podcast did randomly shout. And he said to put Michael Hamilton in the comments wrote, put the Yogcast songs in a playlist with the most epic one after it's in suggestions. I heard of the Yogscast, but I don't actually remember what that is.
Cracker said it with his primal scream therapy again.
Yeah, their neighbor, Crack. Oh, God, it's the muck
Neighbors.
shoveler from the freaking...
Holy shit! Oh no.
He'll be all out of the house before long.
Oh, God! Big D and his entire family of crazy people mining the yard are the upstanding neighbors in this area. No wonder no one thought it was weird he was here. He's too normal.
Have you seen his house? It's submerged in a ditch and has a tarp for a roof.
An upsetting figure. If he weren't such a loose cannon, he would make an excellent hunter.
Oh my God.
He's too busy digging for Iceni treasure.
Iceni?
Oh,
I don't even know what
speaking of
Iceni
loose
is.
cannons, there are also our twisted allies in.
And Hobbit mentioned Dora was testing the machine gun. Yeah. British Minecraft players. Oh God, Michael Hamilton. So it's Dora shooting the house.
Hunter ghouls?
Hunter ghouls?
Oh. Oh. Right. Things are starting to click.
Oh, they're just flat out saying this. I thought this is something they would never actually talk about. Hunters who got empowered by deciding to get ghoul or ghouled themselves, because it does come with actual benefits of, you know, healthier, stronger, faster, healing apparently, maybe, I don't know. So a hunter who still remains a hunter but also is a ghoul, highlighting that it can be a thing. Which does kind of play into my idea that there might be more than one ghoul inside of the chapter house, because this happened right before they went there and broke in by uninstalling the window. So I'm going to just say everything we're about to see is very much in the foreshadowing category.
Good. As you can imagine, they are hunters who hunt down, stake, and then keep their quarry to carefully feed off of till the stock runs dry.
Creepy. And probably what you were going to do
Right.
to the others in the basement.
I understand.
Well, maybe not drink it, but...
It's on the brink of what we do,
But
innit?
not past
That's
it.
right. We only extract information. Thus far.
And, oh, by the way, you mentioned the Icenian or pre-Roman art. Oh, pre-Roman artifacts. Oh, that is actually really fascinating. And Michael Hamilton, you want to see a laser guy cook things besides the microwave? Oh god, I heard about the styroprobe microwave. I don't know much about it, but I've heard about it, and I'm terrified.
Don't like
So
that implication.
far- Wait, has he
Another
drunk?
thing we do not do is
Did Big D drink vampire blood before? Because he's been around long enough. That's a possibility. Maybe that's how he survived this long.
sling vitae. Could have made some serious dosh in Yarmouth had we kept those canites staked.
What?
I'm
They sell
not
it?
sure.
I jest, of course.
You know, there probably actually is a black market for vampire blood. Huh. At what point are the hunters... There's probably entire factions of them that are absolutely monstrous because of what they've done to vampires, and would target the less horrible ones because they're easier to get to.
There's about 12 good reasons not to sell vampire slave drugs. But many an independent manages to do it for a living, using the same vampiric powers against those that would call them thralls and cattle. It's a serious hustle.
How serious are we
One
talking?
has to respect it, but I'd never condone it. You lose too much of yourself to vitae once you imbibe it. What else?
Now, is he speaking from experience, secondhand, or firsthand on that? Because he's mentioned a grandfather, he's mentioned family members. Are one of them floating around because they did that kind of shit? We know he's old, and age is not a thing that apparently bothers him, in the sense that he doesn't seem to. Oh, I don't know.
We also have ghoul families.
Like
Ghoul families?
families that are all Ghoul.
Or were they born
That
ghouls?
exists too, but no. I mean ghouls that have been so ghouled that they pass on their ghouldom to their ghouldren.
Oh, he's just having fun with this word now.
Ah,
So they're born
horrible.
ghouls, so they're basically born addicted.
much like a rare blood disease then.
Except not so rare, probably.
The vitae spreads from mother to child.
As far as I know, that isn't a natural process. But there are ghoul families so embossed with their master's vitae that they even produce vitae of their own.
What?
These individuals are called revenants.
Oh! Oh! Wait, so it's in... Michael Hamilton. You're telling me Updog. Who is Updog? Where is Updog? How is Updog? Why is Updog? Can't imagine what else you would want me to say about that.
And are typically deeply loyal to a given clan, sect, or bloodline.
So not only are they very much in the thrall, but they produce their own vitae. So, taken to the logical extreme, at what point would revenants basically become superhumans? Like, would it grow? Because it seems like it's growing in how much vitae they can produce from none to making their own. It almost seems like it'd be the reverse of the generations getting weaker, where this would be the exact opposite, where the generations of it would get stronger.
That's interesting. Oh god, what if Piotr was planning something like that?
Piotr babies? I refute the very notion! But no. Oh, and speaking of family...
Hunter the Parenting. Is Big D a revenant that is just loyal to a clan that doesn't exist anymore, so functionally independent? I don't know.
Horse, my baby boy! How's father's little giant? Yeah.
Hello, horse.
It does not like Kitten.
Please, eat my apologies, horse.
What?
You're still a bit queasy, aren't you? You have your father's eternal respect for the strength you've displayed these past few nights. We're looking for a ladder, by the way. We suspect there might be a ghoul on or in our roof. Those are
Did they actually find, specifically, did Bruva Alphabusa go out there to find horse noises for this, or did they just happen to record people who can make these? You know, it's probably Carl the Deranged making these noises, because at this point, I assume he can do most random bullshit like that. Yeah. That would be a thing.
certainly. Death will come slowly.
Oi, actually, the potential ghoul on the roof? Just making sure, it is an animal, yeah? You had already mentioned animal ghouls previously.
Of course! Animal ghouls are limited in what they can do,
8
but
legs.
immensely versatile. Imagine a peregrine falcon acting as your eyes. Imagine a rhinoceros as a mount. Imagine giving a dog the power of a gorilla. Imagine giving
That's called a Burmese mountain dog. They're pretty awesome.
a gorilla the power of a double gorilla. Imagine a whale. I don't know how that works, but just think about whales for a second.
Hashtag Team Whale.
These things are all possible, provided you have the vitae to spare. And a familiar like this is, evidently, something our dormitor has invested in. Isn't that just wacky off the walls, dearest horse, kindest horse, fairest horse in all the land of Angor? Yeah.
It's almost like he's addressing the horse like some kind of fairy tale. I'm not going to read into that intentionally. Also, Michael Hamilton wrote, Happy Friday the 13th. Look out for Jasons. I don't know, Jasons are fine. It's the Keiths you need to watch out for. Jasons are in the movies. Keiths are the real life version, man. Do not fuck around with a Keith.
He says he would run it over, stomp it into the ground, and then crush its skull in his big mouth should it near his home.
A whale?
But he'd only eat it if it was made of plant or whatever. He is a horse, of course.
Of course, even though he can throw up blood, and horses definitely have that ability to do, even though they legitimately can not actually throw up. So he's definitely not a horse.
Uh-huh. Plant?
Plant ghouls!
Plant?
They can do plants?
However it's pronounced. It's rare, as it demands a touch of thaumaturgy.
So magic.
Like blood sorcery?
Indeed. With it, it's possible to grow a garden of blood-addicted plants that are excellent for disposing of bodies.
I mean, that's already a thing. There are literally cannibalistic plants. And technically, all plants would fit that way because of the way their root systems work. They are literally eating corpses from a symbiotic relationship with some of the microbes down there and other things that exist on a biological level that break down dead things and then feed the broken down bits to the plant. Yeah, the more you look into how root systems work, the more creepy it is. And Michael Hamilton just put in the comments, it's a whale of a time. Oh my god.
Rosalia's job only got a touch easier and a whole lot more dangerous when that viscera garden was grown. There's also the plant people that certain blood sorcerers can create.
I guess at that point, magic.
Haunting human simulacrums made from plants such as the mandrake. Those are able to perform only the most basic of tasks, though.
Unfathomably creepy.
Yes,
they bleed water?
Keep the lawn never mowed, son-in-law.
Or something else.
Never mowed. Wait, that's Horse's job. Don't steal Horse's job.
Wait, horse just randomly goes out and eats the grass. Oh my god.
I never dare. Why are we here again? Oh, that's right. Ladder. Over here.
Also, someone told me everything about the background is a 3D
God.
model made in Gary's mod.
It's also too small.
Or are we too big?
I swear, where is the bloody ceiling ladder?
Someone would have used
I
it then.
know we had it in the workshop before.
I'm assuming Boy took it. That makes perfect sense.
The tall one?
Yes.
Ah, that's right. I put that one in the chimney.
You what?
What?
Well, I had to see where the secret chimney door in my room went.
What?
What?
Yeah, there's like this secret door in the chimney wall in my room.
There's a what?
Actually, it leads all the way up to the roof.
It does?
Yes. Oh, how could I have forgotten?
Isn't he just talking about a chimney going to the roof? I feel like I'm missing something here. Is this a British thing? Because I thought chimneys going to the roof would literally be how they work. And the door into it would be a fireplace. I feel I'm missing something obvious here. And Michael Hamilton mentioned they may need to hold their horses and not get overwhelmed. That was punny. You get a like for it. But no more. No more than that.
Let's go climb the chimney!
Holy shit, what is going on?
That is a question you should have been asking well
I'll come
before
back with
this.
Dinner in just a bit.
Is it just more drugs?
Chimney ladder. Oh god, just ignore it for now. Just ignore it. Just ignore it.
I hope it actually is a big actual hidden door.
You know, with all this in mind, with how the ghouls are
Gould?
made, I really can't get in the headspace of someone who'd do any of this. It's gross,
Yes.
immoral,
Vampiric.
senseless, all kinds of bad words.
There are not enough bad words in the world's collated lexicon for the true depths of evil that can be inflicted on mankind by the worst of these slavers.
Really?
And just one of those moments where we see Big D's real thoughts kind of break through the crazy. Fake and imposed. Or fake and real, depending on how you look at it.
And these true depths of evil?
Oh, we're just going into this as a topic. Okay.
What do they entail?
I will not linger on this for long, as these things are... It is where the mind wanders unwillingly.
Such as...
Thoughts of those victims that have you feeling like you aren't doing enough. That you need to do more.
What he's describing is probably one of the reasons that there's a bit of his mentality that actually is crazy beyond the insanity he obviously projects. Because that kind of guilt eats away at people. I could do more is one of the most horrible thoughts you can have. Because anyone lazy who could do more isn't going to think that. Oh. But also, we're probably about to see the reason he thinks that, which is going to be so horrible that we're going to understand it. And I think what's about to happen is going to be bad. Also, Michael Hamilton mentioned, I look at the camera and you thought it was so funny. You died for a moment. Oh my God. Really, man?
And what
Why?
I've done to these victims.
Lobotomized server is drunk on the Vitae. Honestly, I thought he was going to go to that previous Halloween or dark clip where it was just the woman who got turned, slaughtered her family in a frenzy, and was waiting to die with him.
My servitors drunk on the Vitae, the freedom and personhood stolen from them. They take these people, like you, like me, like our family and friends. Imagine it! The complexity of our lives, the worth we place in our memories, our abilities, our moments, and our place. They take it! They take it and literally mold them away in favor of grotesquerie with the hateful, hateful magics! They form and reshape their minds, their bodies to shapes and sizes utterly inhuman. They trap these people within their own skin as they take their all, and like vile caricatures of sculptors, carpenters, crafters, and leatherworkers, these fiends fashion their desires out of their victims.
Yeah, we're getting Drukhari flesh sculptors at this point. Or many variations of what an SCP would do in the most horrific versions of that. Oh, I hope there's... It's a good thing there's not an 8-legged rat who definitely wouldn't be a previous person that would do this.
Living furniture that cannot scream, walking blood taps with spigots of innards, animated art mercilessly bent at just the perfect angle. gargoyle folk bound by ritual to a particular place, ever to guard it, unable to leave it. Blood-bound cabals of wizards and fae, the pure stuff of raw imagination, squeezed and siphoned until nothing remains. People turn to bird feeders for unspeakable specters.
Strong enough to hold the fae and wizards and survive reprisal from said wizards. And everyone in the chat is just saying it's the Timsy or Tsmisce. I have no idea how to say that. I'm terrified to learn.
Hungrily eating their flesh, their essence.
Kitten's eyes aren't visible right now. And we're talking about flesh sculpting with someone who has never shown any skin whatsoever and is zoned out talking about this. Is this hitting too close to home, or is this just too much? Too much is too much. Too close to home is probably going to be too much for whenever they do a reveal.
Hulking abominations made of entire families, parents, grandparents, children. Their sinew and flesh inseparably fused like sickly mixed mince. This all. Stop. This all is.
Stop. Stop. Okay, stop. I don't need to hear anymore.
He doesn't want to think anymore.
Apologies, son-in-law. I got carried away.
And this is probably why why Big D doesn't talk about a lot of things. Because this is just the beginning of this section on the depths of evil. So it's going to get worse.
It's fine. It's just... I don't like this at all.
Good. If you like it, we're in trouble.
It makes me want to... This all makes me want to...
Hunt them down.
Yeah.
Yep.
I want to...
Find those, stop it.
Save this person.
Saving might just be killing them.
In the chapter house, I mean. Whoever it is. They deserve better.
Ooh. Cosmic put out a video a while back theorizing what's going to happen in the next episode based on context clues in the chapter house video. And his conclusion is the ghoul is a certain weeb friend of Kitten's, who he previously dated before Marcus. This line right here saying he wants to save them sounds like a really good bit of foreshadowing to make it hurt more for anyone who's keeping up. Because revealing it's her, that would suck. That would really suck. I'm personally of the opinion that there's more than one ghoul from more than one faction. And Occam was one of the ghoul variants we heard, and the other one is going to be more of the slaved version. But we'll see. Just, I don't think I'm going to like how this goes.
You won't save just them. You will save them all.
So...
What does saving entail, though?
What should we do once we find this... poor thing in our house?
Kill it, probably.
Really?
I'm sorry, son-in-law.
It's probably the safest way.
It would be best to save this poor animal from its misery.
Probably not an animal,
how
is
we
it?
Save them? But wait, what about the ghoul in the chapter house? Are we going to kill them?
No! Not necessarily.
Oh?
Not necessarily?
Honestly, I wasn't expecting that. I fully thought he would just kill them flat out. Granted, the other ghoul he's currently working with, so yeah, sure.
We can see what we can do. I'm optimistic. I think capturing the chapter house ghoul will be largely a triviality. After that, it's up to us figuring out the finer details of their ghouldom and just how deep it goes.
Yeah! Triviality! I'm thinking whoever did this is, still be funny if it turned out to actually be werewolf having fun with someone who hunted a werewolf there.
The going theory is that the Ghoul infiltrator is one of the people already inside the Arcanum chapter house, and no secret person X, no animal, and no bloody plant. Was that right?
Okay, so we're going into specific moments right here where even though Kitten's the one saying these words, what we're looking at is the author, or in this case, Bruva, Alphabusa, and everyone on his team, giving information directly to the audience, because this came out significantly after the last episode. So everything we should look at right now isn't, here's some things about in-universe lore for World of Darkness. This is, how do you look at what's about to happen in the next episode in advance? So I want to really pay attention to this specifically. Not in context of the narrative we're seeing here with the eight-legged rat, but in what we've previously seen in the last main episode.
Yes, skipping some details, what Kevin gave me was the following. Allow me to paraphrase.
Ye?
This is something the status quo vampire big shots would not want hunters to know.
Ye?
They have ghouls all across East Anglia, serving as the backbone of their information network.
Kind of assuming that so
This
far.
allows them to expand the borders of their domain, line their pieces up in the war effort, and most importantly...
War effort. What war effort? Do they mean war as in against, well, the ghoul, not ghoul factions, the vampire factions? Or is this something else? Because they're not hunting the hunters. If they have this much control over them, they can just bait them out and let them take care of people, which is seemingly what's happening with Big D being shown, well, Piotr and his group. Unless there was something else going on.
To get at something.
He doesn't know what
Something
it is
that, as
either.
of now, remains unknown.
Oh boy.
What would vampires want an information network to find? And more importantly, what would Bruva Alphabusa consider? There are two things that immediately jump to mind, and both are kind of fucked up. One would be to awaken an ancestor, because fuck it, why not? That would be horrible. Or specifically to find the Flesh Cathedral, which is apparently a real thing here, not an SCP. Although I'm sure there's an SCP version of it somewhere out there. Because, yeah, I know just enough about that to know that I don't want to know more about that. And there might be even more horrible things that I'm not aware of. And honestly, I'm okay with not finding out right away. Also, sorry, you mentioned Noah started making TCG videos. Then he game shows, board games. So you want to start with the most popular vid or his first game show? For Noah the Magic or Magic the Noah, I don't know. Again, I'll probably check him out in a different series or, well, a different day. But it looks like it might be interesting, though.
They have ghouls in several organizations. And as Kevin listed them off by name, that is when he mentioned the Arcanum as one of the afflicted orgs.
But what were they looking for,
I think
though?
it makes quite a lot of sense for a high-ranking vampire to want a ghoul within the Arcanum.
Does it?
To make sure they can redact any research that comes a bit too close to breaching their...
See, I'm actually going to disagree with Kitten on this entirely. I don't think it would be a high-ranking vampire. It could be, but it almost seems like someone who would have to be lower on the totem pole. Because the higher they get, the less they know about how to actually human. Which is why they brought Kevin in to do the thing they never let him actually do, and it drove him crazy.
Masquerade.
Yes, and by that
A lower
logic,
one would know to do
this
it.
ghoul has to be fairly new, given that we never discovered them whilst in the Arcanum's employ.
Is that a certainty, Sadi?
Well, of course! One of my primary duties while on staff was guarding against such infiltration.
He actually had a job? Not that he worked there to stop it, but he actually was employed. He had primary duties on staff. Which would have been probably under Occam. And we're being told the two different options here. It has to be someone who's been there a long time, based on what Kitten said, or someone incredibly new, based on what Big D said. I'm still going with the two Ghoul theory at this point, because this does seem to be highlighting what those two options are. And sorry, I didn't act sure if I want to do most popular or the first one. That's because I don't know yet. So I'm going to decide. Maybe popular, maybe first. I have no idea. I've gone both ways before.
But if you seek more compelling proof, you'll note our scholarship on the vampiric was never redacted whilst we were there.
Was it redacted afterwards?
Hold on. If they, for...
Michael Hamilton just mentioned that Noah the Magic the Noah, turns a Black Lotus MTG card into a drink coaster. That is, at a minimum, an $800 drink coaster. And the only Magic card I remember that was a Black Lotus sold for $800 had a literal bullet hole through it. Oh dear God.
whatever reason couldn't get rid of our scholarship whilst we were members. Could the Ghoul have been involved in getting us banned from the Arcanum?
Yeah, that's probably more Black Law.
Remember, Black Law had been lobbying for our ban since the day we came, after all. And it's not like we respected the Arcanum's rules all that much.
Kicking them out probably didn't matter.
Most of us, at least.
Yeah.
Your point is point info. It means the Ghoul might well have existed alongside us, even back then. Nevertheless, this is a side tangent. Further along in the interview, Kevin went ahead and mentioned the Hunter data.
Oh?
Some kind of evil, fucked up data computer hypertech that immediately injects the names, age, and location of all hunters in East Anglia directly into your brainstem.
Didn't you refer to it as a floppy disk earlier? Wait, if they're going into tech... People mentioned Queen Victoria was one of the leaders. I can never remember who was a vampire faction or a... No, I think she was the tech wizard evil faction. Maybe... Are we bringing in wizards in this? Because I thought the wizards were being kept to the Norfolk game. Where was Dor prior to Britain? I don't think he was in Norfolk, but maybe he was. Oh, and Michael Hamilton, you mentioned you were doing that. I didn't know if Magic the Noah did that. Michael Hamilton, you turned a Black Lotus into a coaster. Okay, you get a like just for that. That is insane, man.
Didn't you refer to it as a floppy disk earlier?
Yeah? I would assume it flops its way through my ear canal or something. Evil worm, the computer is the devil, as I was saying.
Considering in World of Darkness, the computer is literally run by the devil, or, well, the mages who are evil, but sure, why not? And then in the werewolf side, it is actually evil technology because evil worm, just, it's a Y70. He's not being crazy here. It just sounds like it from the outside.
The hunter data is, of course, top priority for vampires of any stripe.
Probably already have
Should
it.
they acquire it, they would know the location and identity of all hunters in the region.
Bloody.
And could then maybe feed them information to take out people who were malcontents, who were technically their targets, but also happen to overlap. And he's like, hey, you have a bunch of people who will do everything you want without being asked for it.
Hell.
Which is probably what happened in the first
With that sort of
episode.
data, they could wipe the lot of us out.
Or use you.
Why the hell would you keep something like that?
Huh. Blame the Coalition. Under their watch,
Coalition?
power and influence over the unaligned hunters will always be a higher priority than their security.
To do what they want.
What idiots! I can start to see why you're so fervently anti-authority, Sadi.
Excellent!
God,
We'll
he's
make
getting
an enemy
into
of
it.
the state of you yet.
I wouldn't go that far.
Regardless, Kevin first learned of the data when he was still part of polite vampire society.
Oh, jeez. Also, Michael Hamilton, you're just clarifying. Your mom did that because she thought it was pretty and your dad got pissed? I mean, your mom probably... I mean, it is very pretty, but your dad got pissed because that is a multi-$1,000 card. And still, if they could take it out of it, it's probably still worth money.
The Camarilla, yeah?
Yes.
What?
When he was still part of polite vampire society.
The Camarilla, yeah?
Yes.
Oh. It sounds like he's going to agree with them, but he's changing what he's saying to say polite vampire society. Wait. He wasn't going to refer to the Camarillas polite ones? It's probably because he's more like, polite is a stretch. That's more sensible.
Did you learn that name during the interview?
They kept bringing it up alongside something called Anarchs and their own Sabbat membership.
That's what I mean when I say practical learning. You're always getting...
Oh, so he wasn't aware they knew this, and he's being confronted by saying yes, then realizing that he hadn't told them, so they had to learn it from someone else. And then he immediately confirmed the source of the information in case this was the ghoul, which would be a surprise, but apparently he's paranoid and crazy enough to think it through. Oh, that's a crazy little way to show it from the outside when his thought process goes that way.
Get better information out of the local ne'er-do-wells than you ever will from my generalized understanding. But yes, he first learned of it as part of the local Camarilla. But then learned more whilst hanging out with Piotr, as apparently the Sabbat had a spy within another org that works with the Arcanum. Allegedly, they finished compiling the hunter data only recently.
And now we're mentioning that there's two possible ghouls, a Sabbat and a Camarilla. Which would probably go back to my two ghoul theory. So still Occam as the Sabbat, or sorry, Occam as the Camarilla. Going to take a wild guess at who is the Sabbat.
So the ghoul is going to be after that data, but it's likely locked within the archive, so it won't be easy to get at.
I can't imagine the ghoul is in any particular rush if they're a more permanent resident. I can only imagine them getting a bit panicky when we hit the scene.
And that's why they had the maps in the previous video. So you could see where everyone went. And at the time, it's just an idea to see who's where. And we thought it was based on finding out who was with who based on the murder. But the reason that was actually this moment right here, to figure out who went to the archive. So it probably wasn't Grimmel because she was in the control room. We could probably figure out who is the Sabbat ghoul right now by going and seeing who went into the archives. Or who is not the Camarilla, because if it is Occam, he would already have access to that. Or who would want that stopped.
And depending on how they respond, we will respond in kind.
Hopefully we can get through this without wanton violence.
Well, that failed.
Well...
And Big D knew that in advance.
Now,
It won't be
your
wonton.
room, was it?
Yes, quick!
It's more like egg roll violence.
Quickly!
Oh, they're hunting the actual rat now.
Yes,
Ooh,
quick.
exciting music.
I love
That is a very red room. Is that a dragon in the background? Or it's blurry enough I can't actually tell.
my room.
I've been meaning to ask, how did you get that bronze horse statue in here?
It's a statue of a horse?
Yes, the horse of Saint Mark. You see, it's actually made of copper rather than... Wait! Shh. In here.
Chimney door opens. Oh, there actually was a door.
Sir,
Okay, his house had a door in the chimney. Sure, why not?
this... how have I never seen this? Also, isn't it dangerous to put a ladder in a chimney?
Oh,
Yeah, the door's
what?
already there.
We only burn evidence behind Horse's house anyhow. Now, quiet! Let us head up.
Actually, as long as it's not in the fire itself, it just might get soot stained. Isn't that just the roof? Oh no, there's a separate door right under the roof.
Stop here.
Torch on.
I'm going to get jump scared, aren't I?
This is the attic, isn't it? You know, somehow I've never actually been up here.
Yeah.
But
Shut up.
Was that him or something else?
Pressure washer attack!
He actually brought the pressure washer!
Goodness bleeding gracious, you blasted a hole in the roof cap!
Got away!
Through the hole in the roof cap.
Oh no, rain's leaking in.
Crawled into the walls!
Oh god, insurance won't cover this.
Considering you just mined the yard, I don't think you want to call insurance on this one. Or depending on who your insurance company is, that actually might not be the worst idea.
Do not divest your attention in such worldly things, son-in-law! Did you see it? Or rather, them.
There were more
What?
than one?
2.
8
Those
legs.
creatures, they were not rats.
What were they?
What?
Here, trumpet!
Are we gonna find some...
Of course!
Considering all the talk about body shaping horror, I'm hoping that they're not gonna pull up really good artists to make something absolutely monstrous and terrifying. You know, the thing that Bruva Alphabusa has brought in multiple times before because they're very good at it to depict humans. And then the slightly less monstrous demons. I know what I said. If you have seen enough of his random non-main videos, you're probably thinking the exact same things I have, and they're disturbing.
What do you hear?
This started in the cellar, didn't it?
It did. That's where we first heard it.
Where there was a lot of vampire... So it might be an unaligned ghoul loyal to a dead vampire then. Or how long after the rest of the body gets burned up does the residual stuff matter?
Or them.
I have a theory. Come with me. We head for the cellar.
Oh, God!
Oh, he's actually running through the house. Dear God, this is actually really cool.
Stealth into the cellar.
I don't think shouting helps.
Wait, watch the slippery! Step!
There's a slippery step?
Shit, Sadine!
Damnable ghost computer. Would you look at that?
What?
What's going on?
There is the pressure washer. Throw it down now.
Onto him?
Shit, where is it?
You
Upstairs.
poor things.
Oh, it's up here! Sadine, catch!
Take this, you.
Out of water?
Where did they go?
They don't like water,
Did
whatever
they
it
go
is.
invisible?
No, they ran away at great speed before I could shoot.
Why would they run for water when it's raining
At us
outside?
from any corner.
Shit! Sadie! Blast the roof with the pressure washer.
But you're underground. You'd have to go through multiple layers to get to the outside rain.
Proof?
Well, they hated the rain, didn't they?
You're underneath the
Have
layer.
water sprout all over the room.
Oh, just shout it around, not to break through the roof.
Your brain cracks at the seams. Let's make it rain. 3, 2, 1.
Oh yeah, because when the roof was broken and it rained inside, they ran away down here from the... Okay, that makes sense.
Pressure washer.
Squeaking?
There, from the big pipe in the ceiling. They're leaping down!
Wait.
Those aren't mice, they're just chihuahuas. Looking completely normal. I know what I said. I stand by this.
What are they doing?
They're drinking the floor blood? No. Oh, no. They're drinking ape's blood. Oh, God.
Ah. The clouds have cleared.
So apparently you can still drink
These
dead ghoul
creatures
stuff.
have ghouled themselves.
Is that even possible? I'm so confused.
This is a highly unlikely scenario. A vampire's blood usually dusts after only a short while. But Ape was young enough that his vitae remained for longer than usual.
Oh! So apparently
Not
that does
even
normally go away, but
I would have figured the potency of the leftover vitae would have gone by now.
they would have been down there early on.
Yet it seems it was potent enough to have its effects last until today.
Huh.
Things. They look miserable.
I mean, yeah, that's kind of how Chihuahuas always look.
These creatures. I have never seen anything so pathetic in my life.
Chihuahua. They look normal. And I also agree with Big D on this one.
Well, they're certainly not rats.
Are they not?
Yeah, just that's
Well,
debatable.
no, they're dogs. They're clearly dogs. Greyhounds.
Don't be so sure.
Greyhounds. The fuck kind of greyhounds have you been looking at? I'm not going to get a picture right now, but okay, sure.
What?
They have drank the blood of the ape boy. Sometimes ghouls can suffer immediate consequences for their imbibement of a particular vampire's
An ape had
vitae.
distortions of
Pains
physicality
and
there.
curses can come both mentally and physically. Look at these beasts. Abnormal, spindly legs, balding, spotty hide, curved abnormal backs, ears like skin flaps,
I mean, everything he's describing right now is literally why I thought they were Chihuahua.
eyes too big for their skulls, snaggled teeth, and this constant nervous shivering when not snout deep, necks unnaturally bent, lapping at that accursed spill. They suffer a goulash of mutations.
Or they're a standard Chihuahua. I'm still going on that one, although apparently they look like greyhounds. Yeah, that's a big change, but
Carried from the drinking of the already highly volatile and beastly blood of the ape.
Sir D. These are clearly just normal greyhounds.
There is nothing normal
Goblinoids.
about these goblinoids.
Greyhound owners say the same thing.
Not be so easily deceived. They could be in-stretched rats, predatory muntjacks, or, of course, ghouled fey creatures.
Oh yeah.
you can ghoul the Fae? Honestly, I thought the Fae would be so weird on their own that they wouldn't interact with something physical or curse-related as a vampire. Although they might get off on that for all I know.
We are in too deep.
Look at these gremlin beasts. They shame themselves, no longer suited for the courts of the dreaming.
Oh, they're actually upset about that one.
You're being mean somehow.
Sadly, we must kill them.
Huh?
Sir.
If we pour epoxy into the vitae, we could make a rudimentary glue trap.
Oh my god, he's actually looking at rat
An
traps.
asbestos bomb is in order?
What?
Oh.
Fine. They are rather cute from a certain angle.
Like your eyes being closed, looking away?
Devilish little creatures. Therefore,
He just described all of that and immediately said, well, it's kind of cute. Oh, and Steward of Autumn mentioned you can corrupt the Fae. Oh, lovely.
I will simply and humanely slap at it.
We should take responsibility.
Eh.
Is that not what I'm doing?
We owe these poor animals more than this.
I hate this as much as you, son-in-law, but this is mercy.
I mean, you have another vampire on tap who could stabilize it, give them multiple sources. And if they were slavishly loyal to him, it would probably still be safer than the average Chihuahua. And Michael Hamilton wants to old yeller them. Oh my god.
It is dangerous to keep them alive. Not only to us, but to themselves.
Eh?
Why?
Why? Have I not elaborated enough on the why this evening? You have incensed me, son-in-law. Do not interfere.
Sir, you haven't really gotten to the why yet.
He got to the
Not
horrible
really.
control, but not what happens uncontrolled.
But I think I know what it is.
Because someone else could take control.
It's about your children. It's about Marcus.
What?
As inquisitive as ever.
Just before you do anything to these dogs, answer this. Why are you keeping diablerie and now the mechanics of ghouling a secret?
I mean, the Diablerie, because they would probably want to play around with it. Ghouling, though, makes a lot more sense because power boost. I can control it! Followed immediately by, oh shit, I couldn't control it! Yeah. That wouldn't make sense. Also, people are correcting me these are not Chihuahuas. I'm going to disagree. I don't care if they're supposed to be greyhounds. They still sound like Chihuahuas to me. I am making my claim on this one. I'm ignoring all facts, including the fact that explicitly they're being called greyhounds. I do not care. They are Chihuahuas. Not just that, because Chihuahuas and greyhounds are basically the same dog, just slightly stretched out. I'm sticking to my guns on this one.
I suppose I did want to tell you.
Yeah.
So I will. I wish you to aid me in preventing Marcus from learning certain truths.
Because he would do stupid shit?
Truths these creatures epitomize.
Growing bigger and stronger?
That's what I figured.
For the time being, at least, it must be kept sequestered. You know that ghouls can gain the powers of their dormitor. A fraction of it, but enough to make the ghoul stronger, faster, age far slower, and gain access to vampiric magics.
Which is why the ghoul police officer did it.
In the chapter house, we will, without doubt, be dealing with an abnormal ghoul. Much like these. How abnormal? I cannot say.
A revenant would produce their own vitae. What happens if you drink a ghoul's blood? Probably nothing, or do they drain away what is empowering the ghoul?
But their dormitor and regnant, as I have learned, is one of the most powerful vampires in Norfolk.
Camarilla or somewhere
Far
else.
outstripping even Diablerist Piotr.
So he put himself up to the 8th generation with Diablery, or diabolizing, whatever it is, the others. Or was it... How high are we talking is in this area?
Well, I see where you're going with this. Marcus is brilliant in his search for optimization. The bloody steak jacket somehow worked to his credit.
Yeah?
But do you really think he would stoop so low as
Yes.
to Ghoul himself?
Yeah! Especially if he feels bad for himself and wants to heal up and be useful. I can see him doing that. Not just because he's a spiritual successor to Magnus, who explicitly did that. Not the ghouling part, but drawing power from somewhere else that eventually bit him in the ass. Because Marcus, as we've seen described, is very much having problems with having been kicked so hard in the teeth and not been as helpful as he wanted, and also dealing with all of this right now. Yeah.
I can't see that.
I can.
Him learning of Diablerie from this experiment was a massive mistake. I could have prevented it, I recognize that. But the idea that humans can in essence diablerize vampires, preventing that knowledge from entering his highly eccentric mindset, is not too late.
Honestly, the revenanting yourself actually seems like it'd be more generally useful, because over time it would concentrate the blood. But that would also go very many layers of Alabama that would probably not be good.
Marcus is willful, brash, arrogant, and stubborn. If he believes he can master vampire vitae without falling prey to its wiles, he will do it. And should he try, he will fail.
Yeah. Oh, also, it was mentioned by Hakiri, or Hakiryu. Hakiryu? I'm probably butchering the name. Sorry about that. Piotr went from 12 to 10. Kevin's a 9. His sire's an 8. The vampire head is a 7. Okay, so that's where I got the 8 from. It was where the sire from that one. It's been a while since I've gone through this. So yeah, a 7th gen is the highest ranking Camarilla. Oof.
I'll be frank. If you believe these risks are that great, couldn't you just teach him about these dangers before he comes across them himself?
Would a
Marcus never
temptation be
lets
enough?
dangers stop him, even at the cost of a functioning brain.
Like you?
Just like his father. Hey, stop squirming! Stop rotating!
Then why let him hunt? If this information can be stumbled upon when hunting like this, why allow Marcus to carry out interrogations and, hell, even experiments on our quarry?
I'm wondering if when the Chihuahuas are acting like this has anything to do with who's talking. Because it's been reacting not just to one or the other, but when they say certain things. I'd almost want to go back and correlate when the dogs react in such a way based on what's being said. Are they a way from Bruva Alphabusa to indicate someone's wrong? Or a way to indicate someone's making a point in line with the ghoulified side for the Sabbat? Hard to say.
If you really think it's that serious, why are you ever allowing him this kind of freedom?
It is not a matter of allowing him. He has chosen this path, as all my children who hunt have.
Oh, so he has children who haven't?
And I am proud of him for it.
All his children who hunt. How many kids has he had that don't hunt? Also, does that mean that there's a random family out there of normal people who just randomly get Big D dropping in on them to get money? Yeah, actually, he probably literally does that, yeah.
In time, I shall shape Marcus into a hunter much like myself. I cannot deny that Marcus is already immensely powerful, and in sheer headstrong determination almost surpasses me.
Almost.
But in his pursuits, he hurts himself. Even if he is sat down and taught the risks of, say, imbibing vampire vitae, would he really listen?
I'm wondering if the dogs were reacting to Marcus listening and them detecting him. And maybe hearing this moment right here about this.
I think he would. I really do. At least talking to him would be worth a try.
You might not have noticed, but he sees vampires, what they can do, their power, and yearns for such power himself. He cannot help it. I can fully relate.
He can?
Almost any hunter can.
Let's not be the
But
weaker
that
one.
kind of power will damn him. And why would he care if it damns him?
He's looking away and not meeting Kitten's glasses, ski goggles when he says this. He mentioned previously that you can be unghouled, but then we never talked about that again. What did Big D do in the past?
His damnation could save thousands. He thinks he can overcome such a curse and balance the scales, but that's hubris. And Marcus has yet to comprehend the true reality of damnation. Only once he discerns it for himself can he know the cost of that path.
Which
I
is
was
what happened to
hoping that,
Magnus. And
given the
TTS.
freedom to face them of his own accord, he would learn. But so far, he instead places blame on me for not serving theory to him, mushed up on a plate.
Okay. All right. All right. I feel you might be
Projecting?
underestimating Marcus.
Oh, heavily, but...
It is your privilege to believe that.
But the last time you didn't, they didn't know about deoblerization, and that led to problems. So, yeah, you can see where Big D is coming on this one, because his thoughts aren't unreasonable, but... yeah, I feel like we're missing something, and something in his past probably did go wrong. In TTS, we got bits of the past for the Emperor, but we could never get into detail because that was always in flux. Here, though, Bruva Alphabusa has a lot of leeway to actually talk about the past, and he's been dropping in hints and pieces there, mentioning his previously family, hunting with his family. He mentioned the grandfather in this episode.
If whatever Kevin told you is true, then Marcus is already likely to see a person that he knows as a ghoul, potentially pulling whatever tricks they've got up their sleeves when cornered.
If it is so, I hope that
Unless it's not someone
in
Marcus
itself
knows.
is the lesson that will get through to him. Beyond that, I do not think the ghoul possesses the time, will, or forethought to use any disciplines they may have in a constructive or terribly impressive fashion.
Maybe.
Hopefully, this subject will be irrelevant.
Why do you think that? I mean, what will happen if the ghoul does fight back proper?
When the ghoul is found out, either through being starved into admission, or maybe even busted by Occam and his solar sorcery.
What? What? His solar sorcery. I'm sorry. What? I don't think he's a mage, because I don't think mages are hunters. They usually go for their own thing. So that would imply he's the more touched version. Because I know there's two different versions of hunters from two different books. One was closer to what I think we get with Big D's family, where they're trying to figure out what's going on and the lack of knowledge is what's the problem. And then there's the other version of Hunter that gets power some way and may or may not drive them crazy. I don't know. And Siren, you mentioned he said that in chapter 4. Yeah, but I thought that was just being dramatic. Sorcerers are a thing. I didn't know they were a thing in Hunter, though. I thought they were more just related to the mage side.
They might scramble and try to fight back. If they do, we will do what we do best.
Unless he's...
Pummel them into submission before they can act.
And if they're smart enough to use their powers constructively, what then?
Well, there are a few things we can know with certainty about our ghoul. These will be our red truths, drenched in the blood of Kevin himself. Our ghoul's dormitor and regnant is the Tremere Regent of East Anglia. She's an immensely powerful blood sorcerer and is able to use a wide variety of disciplines.
And also is completely aware of you because she was literally standing on the mound when you were ending episode 1.
This also means our ghoul has a fair quantity of disciplines they could potentially have.
That is bad.
But this is something I have learned about the Regnant's favored ghouls, particularly those that work as spies.
Oh?
They only have what's useful for their roles. Sharpened senses, the power to bend minds, and, for a special few, blood sorcery.
And if what he said right here is accurate, that would imply the ghoul is not the one who tore, I forgot the old man's name, to pieces at the end of the episode. I'm still going with more than one. Maybe it's not a ghoul then. There was a theory jumping around that there was also a werewolf who would not want to get found out for some reason, maybe. It's like, hey, this blood is explicitly not human at all, or ghoul. Would be a good reason to take him down. But also maybe it's not. I still feel like there's more than one thing going on. It's not just the ghoul going on.
But for most, nothing at all. It is, I'm told, considered an irrelevant investment to that most callous regent.
So in the worst case, nothing we haven't dealt with before then?
True! However, you vex me with your concern, sway me to second-guessing myself. It is possible they have been granted another tool. There are certain policies, so-called drafts, that vampiric sorcerers can create with their vitae. These drafts can give another vampire or a ghoul limited access to more powerful magics. If only for a short time.
Oh, God.
These drafts are usually limited to disciplines of strength, speed, and endurance. But, and this is the kicker,
that would lean to the ghoul side, and this sounds a lot like what happened at the end. But still going with this is a drop being used for whatever happened at the end. But then... this still doesn't make sense, because Occam wasn't dead.
Here, as far as I know, unique to Norfolk, there is at least one more of these drafts. A draft of domination. With just such a draft, a ghoul could perform even worse acts of mind chicanery. They could give victims complex orders that will be carried out without question.
So we're looking at two different draughts. A draught of strength and a draught of mind control. So whoever's doing what could also be a victim. So it's entirely possible if Grimmel was acting, they might not be a ghoul, they could be mind controlled. Or someone else was being mind controlled to do something. And that would explain the two ghoul thing where there's two people acting in different sides because maybe the orders were different and one isn't a ghoul. But that would be one ghoul again with different possibilities. Or even two different... Ah, God, there's so many Chekhov's guns, according to Shadow Man. He's using a phrase so I thought about. A Chekhov's gun, for anyone who doesn't know the term, is when you put a gun on a table in a play. If by the third act it's not used, it was stupid. You should have never put it in. It is a complete and utter waste and a mistake. So when you're writing something, you put out a Chekhov's gun. You need to use it. These are all Chekhov's guns. We've seen old and new ghouls. We've seen the multiple draughts, one for strength and one for mind control. And we've seen a lot of possibilities of the body being warped. Hopefully that's not the part that this would lead into, because I think that was just general information prior to that. It's just figuring out right now how much of this is a Chekhov's gun where we're being given information about the next episode and how much of it is just general information for World of Darkness. The beginning of this did explicitly say some of this is only true for Hunter the Parenting. There's going to be a lot of what is going on moments now. This is not making it any easier. It's not actually answering questions. It's raising additional ones you didn't even know to ask in the first place.
They could even order them to attack their friends and family.
These sound like incredible risks, should they be present during our operation.
Yep.
We should be moderately wary. Yet the risk of this draft being present, I find, is not outweighed by the risk inherent to Marcus's knowledge expanding too far.
Sadi, sorry, but why are you so cavalier towards the threat of this ghoul compared to your worry over Marcus? What if the ghoul ends up a significantly larger threat than you're expecting?
Hell yeah, what if? That would be crazy. It's like the last episode would... have ended with Big D actually looking shocked, because that would be a thing. And someone in the chat, yeah. American Brit mentioned, is it possible the werewolf was dominated to kill fatigue? That's actually kind of in question, because the pictures of Fatigue when he's young involved potentially a werewolf corpse being mounted in a full wolf mode, or just a wolf itself. It's hard to say. So yeah, Michael Hamilton mentioned it's pronounced drafts, by the way. Maybe, but I like to fuck up words because sometimes they sound better that way. Also, I didn't realize that, so I'm going to try and remember.
My priorities are not that skewed.
Are they?
If it becomes relevant, I
will be too late.
will have to give in and inform. Oh my God, I'm informing.
No, not again.
Fine. And you will have to help me clean up the inevitable mess.
From whatever Marcus does, or from vomiting trying to tell the truth to Marcus? Probably both.
Not the vomit, the ghoul stuff.
Fair.
Yet even so, I am confident. No matter how powerful their master is, they've walked into the lion's den. They could never hope to defeat 5 prepared hunters, a Celtic martial artist, and a really bigoted Belgian.
Oh, yeah. Wait, he's actually talking positively about Blacklaw? Damn. He's actually being serious for a minute.
They have no hope, and frankly, I believe Reynolds will be a bigger threat to us than any ghoul. There'll be enough suffering for this poor victim even before the grand reveal.
Really coming back to it's not a vampire, werewolf again.
I aim for a peaceful solution. I do genuinely hope we can help them in the end.
That is a wise choice, I will agree. But with that, sir, could we not please have the same fate go for these dogs?
Oh,
Look,
yeah,
you've
we were
just been
talking about the
holding them for
dogs.
this entire conversation, and they've done nothing.
Things of humanity.
You have lured me into the glue conundrum, which I will utilitarianism my way out of. Prepare yourself, canine!
Wait! Okay. If you are willing to kill these animals for the sake of Marcus's continued ignorance,
You'll just tell Marcus.
at least tell me, when do you think Marcus will be ready?
Never.
That is something I cannot tell you.
Why?
Not yet.
Because...
In all honesty, sir, and sorry, I must be rather harsh here,
Terrible judge.
you are being irrational.
How? Why?
I can't see Marcus.
I love this. All the crazy shit he does. And the first time he actually gets legitimately mad, not just fun mad, which he does a lot, like Blacklaw. He's actually upset about being called irrational because his entire mentality is hyper rational and then intentionally obfuscated. I can't speak to it. Obfuscated. Intentionally fucked around with. There we go. Because he's intentionally playing the fool and may or may not also be crazy on top of that. He may or may not realize that.
Ever going as far as you are worried he might. I see a headstrong attitude, I see recklessness, and I see a want to one-up the opposition in creative and unexpected ways. But abusing vampire blood? No. What worries me far more is the fact that this secrecy of yours is creating rifts between you two.
Saying the exact same thing the Emperor should have been told, although apparently in canon he may or may not have been okay with that and intentionally doing it. Why do I get the feeling Big D did Ghoul himself for more power? It's hard to say. And he mentioned early on in this episode, you can come back from that. But
he doesn't trust you. He knows you are keeping things from him. I mean, you should know. He complains about it constantly.
Yes, I have worried somewhat about our relationship as of late.
But
I think you should consider that perhaps what you're seeing here is a projection of yourself and your own
things you've done that you regret.
failures.
Flat out telling him it's the failure.
A projection. A reflection.
That's worse.
I see in him myself in my younger days.
Oh, did he actually...
I see a dark future that can still be halted in its tracks. And I see... that ghouldom is only the surface.
What
of
else?
An abyssal trench.
What was underneath Ghouldom that you don't want to get into? That you probably did get into?
One Marcus has already once stared into.
What do you mean?
What? I'm not on the earth making a mistake. I'm dead.
Is he going to actually say it? See, this is one of those moments where I wish we could get inside his head because we have so much more information. Like when we talked to the cop in the previous audiolog, we got to see how his mind was turning and had so much information playing every aspect. I want to see that right now. And goddamn you, Bruva Alphabusa, because that would answer all of the questions. And that's exactly why it's probably the best choice not to, because it leaves a lot of questions unanswered that we know have answers because that's how his mind works.
All right. Son-in-law, let me
What's going to interrupt him before he can talk?
tell you the tale.
Or the video just end?
It was 1980.
Oh shit, we're actually getting it!
Marcus was 12 years old.
Wait, Marcus was born in 78? Oh. Oh. No, not 78. That'd be 76. All right. Honestly, I fully expected something would come up to keep this from happening because this kind of information drop... I actually am really excited about this. I thought the rat or the chihuahuas would attack or another thing would come in or Marcus would break in and get upset or something would be going on. I did not expect actual information out of this.
We were
Oh, wow. One, Door, young horse with a hat on. Getting a light from them. And Narcus is just a tiny little... Wait, the Game Boys were that old? Dude. Oh yeah, you can actually see how there's a little gray in the color. I thought it was a shine, but he looks younger in this one. I swear, Door looks like every G.I. Joe figure ever in this. Oh my god.
Parked down in Norfolk Island, off the coast of Australia.
How many Norfolks are there?
Ireland.
Don't question it. On our
Probably a
exploration
lot.
of the island's locale, we were dealing with the pernicious Fae. A bitter local legend.
So they actually did fight the Fae.
Interesting.
Or
I
survived.
like these beasts, but far more murderous. I shan't say much else specific, for the nature of the Fae is far beyond our current purview. Suffice to say,
Don't.
we were thrust into a net of intrigue and horror.
God, baby
with a
Marcus is
sadistic
adorable.
Fae king at its center. We were ultimately
Is
forced
this
to make
why
a
Horse
choice.
got injured?
The details are too awful to recount here in full, but in short, the only way to halt a heinous curse on the land would be to send one of our own to be a thrall of the king in his court for the next 40 years.
What? You mean... Oh. This is what happened to Marcus's brother.
Don't say his
Oh. Is that not Door? Also, Invictus said there's... Wait. Invictus said there's 10 Norfolks in the world, and Lore Master said, look at the background. There's a face and a hand. Oh, shit! I thought that was just... Yeah, there's an eye and a face back here. Who's honestly bigger than all of them. I didn't even notice it. Yeah, there's a face in the background.
name. Please.
I'm sorry.
That was 78, right? This is happening in 2003, I think. So that's 20-ish years in.
Marcus knew what was going to happen. And despite his youth, he appeared to save his dear brother.
Yeah.
He made a horrible mistake.
What?
What on earth are you talking about, Sir D?
In
What?
his attempts to thwart this dark bargain, he believed he could make another. Marcus thought he was channeling a rival power in the Fey court.
Oh, no.
Instead, he made direct contact with something far, far worse.
What would Big D consider worse than Fet? Oh. Also, yeah, the hand back there. Big face. Looks like a beard. Also, I just realized they taped the glasses on Horse. Just noticed that.
A dreadful alien presence.
What would that be?
Unfathomable
Are we talking
evil.
demon or something else?
It is beyond description.
Are we going full on
son-in-law.
Cthulhu on this shit?
An outer force. Not a monster. Not a demon. A thing.
Whoa. Oh, yeah, there's tears in reality all around the picture that looks like it's burning up from the inside, pulling itself out in the picture. Marcus, that is so cool. I love this art because you can see how there's actually reality tearing itself away from the sky. It looks like the moon, but it actually looks, maybe it's an eye, and there's teeth and claws and... God damn. This is amazing. The perspective on this is so absolutely warping that you can barely even tell where it begins and ends.
I've never heard of this.
I know not how he did it. Perhaps through the lore and the tools I left carelessly within his reach.
But would you even know
Perhaps
how to
through
reach
his
this?
inherent sorceress aptitude, I know not. But for a moment, just a moment, a connection was made. And the abyss, for a time, closed in around us.
And then back in the... Of course, there's the spiritual successor aspect here where this is what screwed over Magnus in TTS. But spiritual successor is not a one-to-one. I thought this was going to go a different way. And it sounds like it is, but I don't know nearly enough about Old World of Darkness to know how Cthulhu forces flat-out figure into this. And then I have to remember that this is also explicitly Hunter the Parenting lore, which is going to be different than Old World of Darkness lore.
The abyss?
Door, horse, Anton. We all moved quickly. Severed the ritual, severed the connection.
He said the name Anton. Because earlier he couldn't even bring himself to say it, but this is freaking him out so much he said it without thinking.
But that entity, that thing, it is still out there, son-in-law. Waiting, watching, hungering.
Would it have a thing for
Marcus's
an old
potential
hunter?
burns bright. You know this more than anyone.
Would it show itself by randomly listening to Marcus when he asked things to happen to someone he didn't like in a bar? Okay.
He can be the best of us. The best of all of us. Yet it is that same promise that can damn him lower than any other. Our plan to thwart the bargain failed because of that ritual. That day, I lost a son.
So they actually had a plan to stop the bargain. And Marcus's own plan got rid of it, so 20 plus years in.
It was not the first time. But it shall be the last.
Why? Why would you say that? Why would you write that, Bruva Alphabusa? Every time you say that, something is going to happen. Oh my god, I was talking about Chekhov's guns earlier, and that is... That is a very big Chekhov's gun.
I shall not lose another. Never again. Never again.
And that's why he's so
Said
opposed.
Marcus will grow. He will flourish. He will reach the heights that await him. But he must do so with my guidance. Without it, he could be lost in ways you cannot fathom. Do you understand? Without my wisdom, he is doomed.
Which you're not giving him
Should
because
he
you're too
pass the dark
scared.
too quickly, it already waits to engulf him whole. It knows him. It knows my son. Know that as far as what the supernatural is, as far as what we must face, as far as the true horrors of reality are concerned, ghouls are specks of dirt at the tip of the froth on the surface of a trench so deep it is literally impossible for us to fathom. Ghouls and vampires, the fight against them is integral to our reckoning. It lays the very groundwork for our whole operation. Make no mistake.
But
But there are realities out there that are simply too far beyond you.
and Pilo, like you said earlier, this episode, Big D's at his most serious. I don't think this is the most serious. I think this is him at his most scared. Because he just talked about how he will show Marcus how to grow and flourish with his wisdom. But then he just justified how he's never going to tell him this because he's so afraid of Marcus knowing. And he's making the exact same problem that the Emperor had. Although, may or may not have done intentionally in that one.
And Marcus, in his youth, no less, caught a glimpse of the million eyes that stare from the bottom of ghouls and vampires.
fuck?
The fight and work for our whole operation. Make no mistake.
Okay, that's just weird, but okay.
No less. Caught a glimpse of the million eyes that stare from the bottom of that trench, and their gaze followed, even as he looked away.
Why has he never told me this?
How much does he even understand or can bring himself to talk to? So talking about Chekhov's guns, we've had a lot of Chekhov's guns on this table today. I mean, we're not on a table at this point. We're on Chekhov's storage shelving at this point. And so far, the biggest one is the Cthulhu monster. This is a very big gun. And if it is not directly related to the next episode, I would be incredibly surprised. Because mentioning a few things here and there could be important, could be not. But this is so outside of the topic of ghoul lore as direct knowledge of the character that it needs to be immediately relevant in the upcoming story. Or from a narrative point, it should not have existed. Something is going to happen, and it's going to involve many eyes, even if it's just a hint. Something to show that this is in play that we would not have had the context for before this. And then we can watch all the other Chekhov's gun run into each other and start shooting in a whole Mexican standoff of Chekhov's guns, except it's minus the standoff part. I guess it's a Mexican shootout instead.
Because he forgot.
Forgot? How?
That I cannot say.
Because something else didn't want him to remember?
I understand.
So, please, even if you cannot see it, please, just wait a little while longer before you say too much.
And make him remember?
Just a little more.
That's gracious.
Please, just say, how about... Yes, the release of that video game you two keep nattering about. The one you are so excited about being released after 10 years in development.
Team Fortress 2?
Yes, Team Fortress 2. When it is released, I will talk to him.
Just, need to... When did Team Fortress 2 come out? Hmm. 2007. I think this takes place in 2003. I don't actually remember. But I think he's going to regret this if they have a small time skip.
Excellent. I will even play it with you.
Bruva Alphabusa, so help me God, if you do not have a special that is Big D plays Team Fortress 2, I would just, why did you? This is nice payment. This happens in 2007. This takes place in 2006. It's literally the next year, and depending on when they set this, this could be literally months away, because I think this is happening in the fall as well. Oh, yeah, that's definitely something they intentionally chose. Wait, did they actually get sponsored by Steam to do a Team Fortress 2 episode? They've done it before with Solaris, so why not?
Will you?
I will play it, and as we video game play, running about in the virtual space, happy and sedated and content, I will tell him everything.
Okay,
Bad choice of timing, but
but wait, the official release date or the beta release?
Yes! Let us shake on it!
No.
What?
Counterproposal. I will not tell Marcus anything until TF2 releases, as long as the dogs are left alive.
Really
oh, he's
now?
tying the dogs
I
again.
will lie to Marcus about what these little buggers are, as well as why they're here.
And what do you intend with them?
It is possible to wean someone off of being a ghoul, right?
Oh, he's actually bringing it up.
Rosalia suffered through her life as a ghoul. We tried to save her,
But
but I failed. I hear
what does he mean he tried to save her? I was under the impression he just killed her flat out. Is Rosalia one of the mothers for some of the kids? Probably not. Boy would be the right age. Ooh. That could be a problem. Also, Chromaniac? You mentioned talking about Chekhov's gun. Let's introduce the Buford's canoe. Something is teased for the entire story to be completely useless when finally used. I can see that playing out well in humor, but in anything serious, that would actually just be a writing failure. And I would absolutely hate the writer for it.
that after our final goodbye, she got better.
Right?
But I don't know how she managed it.
She's
Because I
alive?
divorced her and left Poland forever.
Yeah, divorce. Okay, so they were married before that, and oh yeah, that would do it.
She is celebrating 108 this year, I hear.
I'm surprised she's alive.
And I'm very happy for her.
Wow.
Was not expecting that.
That's great to hear.
Was not expecting
then
that.
we have, well, something to work with.
Is it a deal then?
We have someone who
Sure
might
is.
know how to do it.
And that is why you are my number one son-in-law.
Not. Marcus is. And all. And boy. And all the others.
Well,
I am happy being number one-in-law.
well said. And stupid alleged hounds whom are clearly fey beasts, welcome to the team.
I mean, if they are chihuahuas, then Fabius is probably right, actually. Yeah.
Fortress 2?
Hell yeah.
Well, until
We need
you
the Team
manage to
Fortress
unhook
2
yourselves,
special.
little
It
skim
needs
nibs,
to happen.
We are your domitors.
Huh?
After all, we're the ones providing the goods.
Oh,
What?
God.
Listen, new grandchildren.
Sorry?
You will live in the attic. Any other vermin who enters this house, barring Mr. Smapples the cat, oh goodness, I do hope you all get along, you will either chase out, eat, or forced to join your pack. A pack loyal to our family.
Oh my god. You probably should have just killed them as
Let us
safer.
show Marcus his new attic children.
What?
Wait, what?
Marcus, wake up! You're a parent now.
I don't care if people keep calling them greyhounds. I'm going to ignore everything, call them chihuahuas, because they fit better in my opinion.
Congratulations.
I... Oh, boy.
And the best part is, he can now say, why do we have these? Kitten asked for it.
I'll just... Just when I think I start to understand things, I better put this stuff in bags, I guess.
You probably should get rid of the blood, too.
Oh, it's sticky.
Ugh. Are we gonna get jump scared? Dripping blood from... Yeah. Oh. Was the skeleton initially bleeding? Because I know they used the same ending card for every... They had wolves in this one right off the bat. The Custodes reference. The Camarilla. Probably the one who's the regent. 7th gen. You're now attic children hobbit. Oh god. And there's probably a little Carl the deranged thing at the end. Let's check that out. Ogre Poppening. Such a cool little intro or exit.
Okay, everybody, if we call to the range here to
What?
the mummy book. So how it works is that you are
Oh god, I hate the
a
audio.
ghost who looks like this. Ooh, very
Spooky
scary.
ghost.
And you're very old. You're like 5 billion years old.
I
Like this.
doubt.
And then you died. And then there's a new guy here. A modern man. He goes, hey, here I am. But then he also fucking died. You and him are one ghost with a baseball cap here, and you go, hey. Now that we got that over, this is my
What?
character. He's a Bane Mummy Bug Buddy. As you can see here, he's very broken up, and
What? I feel I'm missing. What? It's Carl the Deranged, but also his art is still better than mine.
over his head.
Yeah, he's a better artist than I am.
Abraham Lincoln, who's also a mummy in my setting.
I thought he was a vampire hunter.
America. He built a pyramid out of logs.
Also, I just need to clarify for YouTube. This is a guitar. A guitar. It is just a guitar.
Like this. And that's it for today.
So that was a lot at the end, and we got a lot of lore, and holy shit, it was good, but yeah, I'm just going to ignore everything Carl the Range said because do not get it. Partially because I hate that like early YouTube gamer mic aesthetic. I can't stand it. Too many times playing video games in co-op where that was the mic to have anything but absolute rage reactions to that as just a Pavlovian reaction at this point. But everything to do with that, the Chekhov's guns being pointed out, not just about the ghouls, what might be going on in the different faction involves, how there's more than one thing, what they're going after, how to find out who is either ghouled or being mind controlled by the ghoul because the drafts are the same type of Chekhov's gun. And finally, the biggest one of, there is an eldritch beast of the abyss who is stared at Marcus and now thinks he's fun. And it's definitely not related to Marcus suddenly and completely forgetting about it. I have a feeling it will come up. Either now or in the future sponsored video where they play Team Fortress 2. And if that's not sponsored, why? Steam, get on it. I mean, sure, at this point, it's been out long enough in multiple decades where you don't actually need it. But sure, why not? That was a lot. It was awesome, but it was a lot. So basically what I'm saying is if you haven't, hit it up. And if you have, do it again because it was awesome. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Hopefully we'll come out soon because I need more, damn it. I don't remember how long ago the last episode was, but I want to see what happens next because there's been so much and I need more. God damn you, Bruva Alphabusa. I mean, I could, watch the mage gameplay, and I will. So I think I'll do that. Yeah, let's do that. See you guys in the next one.